Okay, I've just finished watching episode 2, season 2 of The Last of Us. Dude, what time is it? What time is it? It's 2:30 a.m., man. A couple hours ago I finished season 1. Okay. Very quickly, episode 1. Okay. Just to talk about the premiere. I'm sorry, I'm still processing what happened. Episode 1 was okay. It was decent. I think it was a decent start. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It was some things I wish were a bit different. Bella Ramsey taking on that huge guy was weird. I don't think it was realistic at all. Even if he was holding back, what? That guy's like 200 pounds easy. Some other writing choices. I think making Ellie, I don't know, just very self-centered. Of course, good acting. Let's talk about episode 2 though. I knew what was gonna happen in this either new season or in season 3. I think it's been renewed somehow for a third season. I don't know what the heck's gonna go on with that. I never played The Last of Us 2, never played the first Last of Us. It's just one of those things where I'm fairly familiar with the game and the big event that happens in episode 2. I'm gonna talk spoilers. Just a heads up. I'm gonna talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it or maybe don't. Unless you want to be like as I don't even know what I'm feeling. Devastated? I don't know. As I am. First half of the episode, Joe doesn't show up at all. He shows up in the second half. We mainly focus on Ellie going on a patrol run in the morning, Tommy getting the city ready. You know, he basically put the city on lockdown because it was uncovered that this basically hive, this crazy pit of clickers were somewhere near the area. And they didn't know if the number was, 30 to 1,000. So he put the city on lockdown. It's him getting the preparations ready. You know, we don't really see like what the threat is until later. And we of course have Abby and her group. Just take a little pause. Subscribe. Thank you. Hit that bell. Ring a ding 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 ding. I liked how the episode started off with showing Abby's just, her nightmare. The worst thing that could happen has come to life. Her father is dead. He was killed by Joe at the end of season 1. Joe ruthlessly killed him. This man was unarmed. He was a doctor. He refused to step aside when Joe told him to. And Joe simply shot him in the head, right? And so Abby is his daughter. And that scene, I think, does a lot for her character, where the rest of the events that unfold aren't random. You understand it. Maybe you can question the realisticness of it. What has it been, like 5 years? But as far as character motivation, I mean, it's there. And the actress for Abby sells that grief too, and the anger. As the episode progresses, Ellie and her friend basically are kind of trapped in the middle of this blizzard because there's this huge blizzard storm that's coming. Abby seeking a viewpoint, she accidentally stumbles on the horde of clickers that basically cause this monumental horde of clickers to head towards town, right? And still, we haven't really seen Joel. We know he's out on patrol, right? We know from the previous episode that he was gonna go out with Dina. And man, honestly, dude, like I felt it. I'm like, oh shoot. Like I think this is gonna be the episode. I don't know why, I just felt it. Like I'm like it's gonna be that episode, man. And I don't think I felt this sort of dread for a fictional character than I have in this episode. I haven't, man. Like I was like on the thin line of like slightly shaking. Like I was just like, oh no. Like, please, God, no. And little by little, you start to see pieces as to how this is going to be set up. The blizzard is there just distracting Tommy and that mini city. They're trying to survive. And the only ones that are out of the group, the only ones out of the city without protection, completely by themselves, isolated, are Joel, Dina, Ellie, right? And you just start, your wheels start turning. You're like, no! And then upon stumbling on the horde, Abby is running. One of the clickers jumps on her. She's over here wrestling. Oosh, oosh. And then somebody saves her. Guess who? Guess who saves her? Who saves her life? Of course, it had to be Joel. Joel saves her, killing the clicker. It was one of those things where I was just hoping, like, just don't say his name. And Dina, the first thing that they do when they enter the barn, Dina shouts, Joe! Joe! I'm like, oh my God. He's dead. He's done. This is it. I'm gonna stop watching Last of Us. So Joel is over here saving Abby. he's with Dina, and Abby is like, oh, well, my friends are up there. You know, just kind of like hoping they'll take it, right? She's like, they got warm blankets and they got guns. They're not too far. And Joe's like, okay, screw it. Like, because they don't have any options. The horde is after them, too. They leave on horse. And I think this is the best representation of how dangerous, like how massive of a threat these clickers are. There was a whole clan of them chasing after them, like at least 1,000. It was visually very, very great to see that. And then they get to the cabin, and Ellie learns through the radio that he hasn't checked back in. Her and her friend separate. Joe just saved Abby's life. They're there in the cabin, and Abby tells her friend, oh yeah, this is Dina. Please help her out. And then she's like, and he's Joel. And in that moment, I'm like, oh shit. Because the whole group knows what that means. And immediately they hold Dina back. They give her a shot to just keep her asleep for 1 hour, right? Because the whole goal is to not hurt anybody else except Joel. And Joel's there, man. Joe's there, isolated, defenseless. It's just one of those hopeless situations that you have for one of your favorite characters, man. Because I loved the character of Joel. Him being that father figure. I really liked that. But to see him in that position, like, you just can't help but think, like, this guy's gonna get slaughtered. Like, there's no hope, right? There's 5 of them. Even if Ellie shows up, I don't think she can take him. There's no hope. And that's what you feel throughout the last 10 minutes. He gets shot in the leg, and Abby puts a tourniquet on. That way he'll stay alive and he won't bleed to death, so she could continue torturing him. She gives her the reason why, basically saying, you know, you killed my dad mercilessly. So I'm gonna do the same to you. But I'm gonna take my time with it. And she's there crying, and I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not crying, I'm rageful, you know? I'm about to hop into the screen, help out my boy, and then dip. Because I'm not trying to stay. You know, I like this world plenty. And you can tell the plan was simply just kill Joel. It wasn't necessarily to torture him, but that's what she does. And she gets a golf club. It's hard for me to grasp what I'm thinking right now, because I think they did a good job at not making the event feel random, at not making it feel unjustified, at reminding us what Joel did and how these things will come to haunt you, man. Like, it's just a cycle of violence, and Abby's choosing to continue that, right? And for what it's worth, I think the director was smart in not showing and not elongating the torture they did to Joel. They would actually cut away in the hits of the golf club. I think the sound of, you know, Pedro Pascal's acting, him like yelling, that was enough. Like, we don't gotta see that, you know? And I think the director was smart on that. Just take a little pause. Subscribe. That goes on for who knows how long. Ellie shows up. She's brought down immediately. She doesn't have time to think. She opens the door slightly. She sees what's going on to Joe, what they're doing to him, pulls a gun, and they restrain her. They gang up on her and they restrain her, but that's how they do. And then here's where the acting for Bella Ramsey just shines. You know? I think I hated what happened because I really like Joe as a character, but I don't hate it from a writing sense. Because they did well in dropping little seeds of Abby's anger, her rage, her motivations in the first 2 episodes of season 2. And Ellie's just watching this, man. She's seeing Joel completely beat up, bloodied, and it's rare that, I don't know, it just sucks feeling so defeated as an audience member. And Bella Ramsey sells it acting wise. Like, she's bawling her eyes out. She's yelling at Joel to get up. He can't. He has very little dialogue throughout this whole episode. I think his last line was, just hurry up and do it already. That was his last words. Hurry up and do it already. And Ellie goes from begging Joel to get up to begging Abby to not do it, to not kill him off. And she does, and it's quick, and it's, you know, the sound gets cut off, and Ellie's there yelling. She kills him by impaling him, and then they leave. And you're just left there with Bella Ramsey's acting, which is, again, very strong, and Joel's body. Where does The Last of Us go from here? I don't know. You know, can Bella Ramsey carry the show? I don't know. Right now, aside from this last 20 minutes where you really see her care, her love for Joel through grief. You know, aside from that, she just seems very self-centered, and it's hard for me to think of following her for the rest of the season, but we'll see. Part of me wishes the writers wouldn't have had done that. Bro, you bet the viewership is gonna go down. Pedro Pascal's portrayal of Joel is, I would say, at least liked by most fans of the show, you know? The character he portrays is likable, complex, and he's the main character. It's risky, so we'll see what happens. And for me, them killing him off now, where really, you know, best characters in film and television, if they're gonna go out, the best ones go out like fighting, doing a great sacrifice, or something like that. You just feel the weight of it, and you think to yourself, okay, from a writing perspective, that was worth it. That was productive to the story, and that was emotionally hitting, right? I don't know, it just seems like there's so much more to Joe's story, him and Ellie's, that they could have gone for instead of this, you know, and then giving Joe very little to do in the episode. So that whole death and everything just felt a bit rushed. I really was shaking, man. Heartbreaking, devastating. Joe's our guy. The thing is, though, depending on where the story goes from here, you know, like you just cannot undermine this event, because you gotta think this is obviously for the purpose of Ellie's character. Joel's death is for Ellie's character, right? What does it do to Ellie's character? Okay, it gives her a drive for revenge, immense anger, okay, grief, okay, cool. She already had grief, she was already pretty angry. I guess now there's a target for it. Fine, so it's a story about vengeance. Okay, cool. And stories of revenge have one or two endings. You know, the guy or girl gets revenge, or they don't, right? Usually if they don't, it's a Disney movie and they decide to kumbaya at the end, right? They're like, I forgive you, you forgive me, fa la 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 la. You know, even Simba didn't let that slide. What I'm saying by this moment better not be undermined, I'm saying it better have been important to Ellie's character. This, from a story perspective, I hope to look back on it and be like, okay, that was a good storyline. I can see what they did there. It had a satisfying ending. So we'll see what happens. I'm conflicted on how I feel. It was shot well. It was greatly well acted. I wish they would have given Pedro Pascal more to do in his last episode. And the event itself didn't feel random. But was it necessary? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what the consequences of this are from the viewership of the show and, you know, story-wise. We'll see, man. What do you guys think, man? Please comment. Let me know. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought. Seriously, I'm very, very interested to see what you guys have to say about this. Big change. Big change to one of Max's biggest shows ever, about one of the biggest video games ever. So let's see. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.